So welcome to office hours. What can I do for you?
I had a question about special homework three,
Uh-huh.
specifically the question three.
Right. So question 3 in special homework number 3 is practice with arguments. Okay. And for each of the 3 arguments, they're actually argument forms that I give. I ask you to do several things. Uh, Make a key. And we did this in class on Thursday, where I made a key to show how to work through that last example. Then we're going to, write the statement form using the key. So, we're going to write it formally. And then we learned 4 famous argument forms. So you're going to name the argument form. Remember the 4 argument forms that we learned?
Mm-hmm.
So each one of them will be one of those. And then you're going to state if it's valid or invalid. And of course, you can check your notes for that. So, what is the problem? What kind of problem are you having?
I felt like the question was just I didn't really understand what you were expecting as the answer. Just
Well,
with
there are 4 parts to your answer.
mm-hmm.
So, for A, argument 1, you need to make a key. That would be part 1 is make a key.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have the key, then you can write the argument form using the letters and whatever other symbols you need.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would be a reasonable key for argument 1?
Um Wait, I'm trying to get the question now because I don't have it on my paper.
I can share my screen. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So, argument 1, if set X has, why don't you read it for us?
If set X has at least one element, then the empty set is a proper subset of X. X has at least one element. The empty set is a proper subset of X.
Good. And we don't have to understand any of what that actually means in order to work this problem. You just need to pick a reasonable way to make a key. So, you can use the letters P and Q, or you could use, capital A and capital B, or whatever letters you want. Generally, I use P's and Q's, but what would be a reasonable way? Remember, if it's a rose, then it's a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for P, we said, it's a rose, and Q was it's a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would be a reasonable P for argument 1?
P would be the set X has at least one element.
Yeah, so I'm going to write it here and we'll see it in a minute. P could be set X has at least one element, okay? and I'm going to abbreviate because I'm running out of room. What would be another part of your key that would be reasonable?
Would be Q.
And so what would Q say?
The empty set is a proper subset of X.
Okay, the empty set is a proper subset of X. So that's our key. Does that make sense? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So part two is to use our key and write I wrote statement form. It's actually an argument form, isn't it? We're going to write the argument form. So let's go back and look at the argument so that we can see it. So we're looking at argument one. So what would the first premise be?
Pluto is a planet.
No, we're working on
Oh,
argument one.
argument one. Okay.
We're going to finish. We have three more parts to the question. We
Okay.
only did part one, was make the key.
Yes.
Now we're going to write the statement form of the given statement. I should have said argument, but
It would be premise one is P then Q.
all right.
Um premise two is Q.
Okay. No,
The
I
conclusion.
thought X has at least one element was P.
Oh yes, it is. It is P. Yes, it's P.
Okay.
So the premise two is P and the conclusion is Q.
So we'll write our therefore symbol. Don't forget your therefore symbol. Q. Okay. So here's our argument form. So for part three, we want to figure out what the name of that argument form is.
It's modus ponens.
Mm-hmm. And then for part four, is modus ponens a valid argument form or an invalid argument form?
It's valid.
Okay, so you did it. Now you do that for the other two as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question about problem three?
Yes, I don't know. The question just sounded like a whole lot, and I just was not getting to what I was supposed to understand.
Well, when a question sounds like a whole lot,
Because I had the argument part, I just could not figure out the first step.
make a key,
Yes, that was the part I just did not get. I couldn't figure it out.
even though I gave you an example.
I don't usually when you like these when it's too many words, I don't usually get really to the point of it. If it's not as straightforward, I just feel like my brain just doesn't really understand it.
So you're saying if it's too many words that you can't read it?
I can read it, but I just cannot understand it as easily, I would say.
So I have a suggestion. Write it down, copy it. So the first sentence, make a key to represent each statement component symbolically. So write that sentence down, digest it, make sure you understand what that sentence means. Then go to the next sentence. We generally use the letters P, Q, R, S, etc. when we make a key. If you can understand that sentence, maybe you don't need to write it down, but if you don't understand that sentence, write it down and see if the process of writing it as well as reading it out loud helps you understand that sentence. Then you go to the next sentence. It is conventional to construct a key for ideas stated in the affirmative. So perhaps that is a difficult sentence for you. Do you know what it means to say it is conventional?
Yes.
Do you know what it means to say to construct a key?
Yes.
So do you understand construct a key for ideas?
Right. Yes.
Do you understand what it means to say stated in the affirmative?
Yes.
Then, do you understand what it means to say it is conventional to construct an idea, a key for ideas stated in the affirmative?
Yes, but the question just when I first read it, it was just not as easy for me to understand it the first time I read the question.
Then may I suggest that you read it out loud to yourself?
Sure.
Reading out loud can improve your comprehension.
I usually do read out loud, but the first question of this one just I just did not fully understand it to what I was supposed to do.
Well, I think part of what you want to learn to be able to do is understand complicated things. Everything in life is not simple. Specifically in your chosen field, right? Your information systems or information technology, either one of those.
Yes.
In your field, you are going to be required by the very nature of your position to understand complicated things. And that means you need to find strategies, develop strategies that work for you, that help you break down complicated things in a way that you can deal with them. And if that
Mhm.
means writing those sentences one at a time, checking and reading that sentence out loud and make sure you understand that sentence, then write the next sentence, read it out loud, look up any words you don't know, use reference materials if you need to understand that sentence, then move on, write down the next sentence. I mean, that is one strategy. That is the way that I learned to deal with complicated things, was I took them one tiny bite at a time. If the idea of seeing 5 sentences in paragraph form, which is what we see here, right? We
Mhm.
see one, two, three, 4, 5 sentences. If that seems insurmountable, or if you get lost in the middle, then you have to find a way to deal with that. Because your life is not going to be a sequence of 2 sentence instructions when you are reading documentation to learn how to do something in your field. You will also probably need to write documentation to explain a process or document a process for the next user or for the user, the end user. And the only way to get comfortable with complicated things is to start practicing and figuring out how to break those complicated things down into smaller steps and just take those steps one at a time.
Okay.
That's the point of these special homeworks, Malayla. I'm
Mhm.
trying to prepare you for the real work world where you will have to be able to read and
Mhm.
comprehend and write clearly and logically so that the next person can understand what it is you've built, or perhaps, you're querying or trying to correct a system, and you may be trying to communicate with other members of your team that are working on it, and things get complicated for
Mm-hmm.
sure. It's a skill and it takes time to develop it. And I feel your pain. I'm trying to dig into documentation to learn to do some new things, and um, it it takes patience and time.
Okay.
Have you looked at any of the other problems, or do
Yeah.
you understand the other problems?
I finished actually the other problems. I already completed them.
Perfect. So this was the only one that gave you an issue.
Yes, the other ones were fairly straightforward.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you that the wording on the step two instruction, write the statement form of the given statement using, I should have said, write the argument form of the given argument.
Mm-hmm.
The argument consists of statements, or I could have said, write each statement form of the given argument. So I'm going to go back and improve that. So thank you for pointing out that. I mean, I got the feeling that maybe you didn't get past part one. Can you give me any suggestions for how to improve the instructions in part one?
I would say the first sentence, make a key to represent each statement components symbolically. I would say I would say maybe not less complicated word per se, but like more straightforward, maybe.
All right, so let's break it down. Make a key. Is that okay?
Yes.
To represent. Is that okay?
Yes.
Each statement component. Is that where you got stuck?
I would say component, yeah. I would say maybe make a key to represent each statement symbolically would have been okay.
Okay. Well, okay, so you don't like the word component. Do you know what component means?
Yes.
Okay. So let me, so when you see this first statement form, if P then Q,
Mm-hmm.
you know what the components are of that?
Yes.
What are the components?
P, Q.
Correct. So when we make the key, I didn't want you to write P for the entire statement that is if P then Q.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make it clear that you need
Individually.
a P for one of the components
Mm-hmm.
and a Q for the other component. Like I didn't want you to write this PQR.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you don't see the breakdown of the relationship between the first premise and the second premise and conclusion if the first premise is not represented component wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I use the word component. But
Mm.
you're telling me if I had not used the word component and I had just said make a key to represent each statement symbolically, that you would have understood and you wouldn't have just put P for the first statement, Q for the second statement, and R for the third statement?
Yes, but it was more so that just that first step that just to make the key that was just a bit much for me. But then again, it's just me as a person. That's just sometimes things just take a bit more time for me to understand in my brain because it does not seem like many students have complained about that. So I'm assuming everybody else figured it out.
Oh, I don't know. I think that maybe, there are other ways to get this sorted out without actually trying to figure it on your own. You're actually doing the hard work. So don't give yourself so little credit. You're really trying to understand it on your own. And you're not leaning on any tools that you shouldn't be using. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Would it have been more helpful if perhaps I had given an example where I had given an argument, like argument zero,
Mm-hmm.
and if I had worked out the solution in like blue or some other color to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, this is what it looks like to follow these directions. Would that have helped?
Most definitely. That would have been perfect. I like examples, just saying this is what I should be doing. You told me what you expect from me, and this is what I did.
Gotcha. May I ask you this? If I gave such an example, would you do the hard work to understand what the directions actually said?
For sure. I would understand it much better if I could see what my solution should look like based off the example you gave me.
Okay, well, that is a really good information for me, and I will surely put up an example to demonstrate the instructions for that particular homework problem in the future.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate your feedback. It's very helpful.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I do anything else for you today?
That was all. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking for this.
No problem. Thank you. You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.
So I'll pause the recording, and if somebody else comes in the room before, 5 till 5, we will record some more. Otherwise, thanks for playing.